Obedient are gearing up for a mega rally in Lagos this Saturday. The mega rally by the Labour Party will be hosting thousands of youth who had participated in social justice protests and are looking for a Nigerian president, the person of Peter Obi, the presidential flag bearer of the party, who would back their calls for change in government of the ruling All Progressive Congress APC. So joining us now to discuss the Labour Party mega rally in Lagos tomorrow is Sola, Ebiseni, Southwest Zonal Coordinator, Labour Party, and General Secretary General, I should say, Afanifere. Real quickly, there are lots of qualms people say about the Labour Party now. At first, they talk about the massive infighting going on. Most of the rallies that were held in some northern states, the governorship candidates didn't even align with the presidential candidates. That's number one. Two, the APC always make bones about how scanty Labour Party rallies are, all right, in the northern part of the country. They also say it's a testament to the fact that there's no structure and everything. What would be different about Lagos?
Well, first and foremost, I do not share the view that Labour Party rallies are scanty in the northern part of the country. Those who say so probably do not really face the reality of what Labour Party has become. Labour Party is the umbrella for the obedient, as we call it, and it has a lot of components which themselves are formidable groups on their own. If anybody watch what Labour Party pulled in Plateau, what we did in Taraba, what we did in Kaduna, such a person cannot honestly come and say we're not doing well in the northern part of the country. There are political parties which has reduced his own campaign to town hall meetings in areas where they know that they do not have advantage. But we are saying that Labour Party cuts across the 36 states of Nigeria because it is basically a party of the Nigerian youth, what they call the Sorosoke generation. And because Lagos is peculiar, and that is why we call it a mega rally that is coming up tomorrow. The agitation of the Nigerian youths for a change of government, to do things differently for the future of this country, of course, started from Lagos, and they have demonstrated in different ways. They have conducted 5 million man marches across the 20 local governments of Lagos. They have demonstrated it during the NSAS. So we are expecting tomorrow a convergence at an arena that takes perhaps the largest number of people. We are targeting the Tafawa Balewa Square, which is over 100,000 capacity. The largest other venues you have in Nigeria are probably the National Stadium or the MK Abiola Stadium in Abuja, which are just about 60,000. So some of the rallies you see other parties do. If somebody goes to Sani Abacha Stadium in Kano, or you go to Liberation Stadium in Port Harcourt, these are 25,000 capacity stadia compared with what Tafawa Balewa Square represents. So there is no, let me say again, that there is no infighting within the Labour Party. I must say that. You see, Labour Party, you won't see crisis in a place where, or in an organization that means nothing to people. When you see people begin to agitate within, it is because that organization has something in stock for them. But that is nothing compared with what is happening in other political parties. You have a political party where 5 of their governors, where most of their previous governors say they're not going to be part of the campaigns of their presidential candidates. Can you compare that with what's happening in the Labour Party? I'm talking of PDP. I was in PDP. I contested governorship of Ondo State in PDP. In 2019, I was the returning officer for Abubakar Atiku in Ondo State, and we gave him 35,000 edge in terms of votes. But we're saying now that things have changed. Nigerians know where they are going, not just the youth. Even when you look at the Nigerian Federation today, when you look at the candidates and what they portend for Nigeria and its corporate existence, you discover that it is the Labour Party candidate combination that has it. So 2023 is going to determine a lot about Nigeria. I heard the presidential candidates of the APC say in Abeokuta that it's going to be a revolution against a party. I mean, the party he helped to install. I heard the PDP also have their own views. So you have in one party where a large chunk of their members, former governors, present governors, say they have nothing to do with their presidential candidate. You have another one that is up in arms against the government in the same party of which they are presidential candidates. So there is nothing like the crisis you have, if there is any, it is because people want to occupy one position or the other. And you realize that it was just about a week ago that we succeeded in getting the INEC to accept candidates of Labour Party in some states. And that is what Labour Party is for you. Okay, we are the most organized, we are the most peaceful of the frontline political parties in Nigeria today.
We need to manage time if the answers can be more concise.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you. In my view, crowds do not necessarily translate into votes.
Very well.
So parties will say, oh, we have this massive crowd, we have this mammoth crowd. How many of those people anyway have their PVCs? But I like your passion about the candidate of the Labour Party. But the governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, insists that Peter Obi is just a Nollywood actor. And that those of you who are supporting him, your passion is misplaced because he cannot even get more than 1%, 5%, in some parts of the country. That he will only win in the, maybe in the southeast. And so why are you following a Nollywood actor? That's number one. Number two, there is a group called the Afanifere Youth Council. I saw something about them. They're claiming that they are mobilizing about 127 youth groups or more to be at the rally for the Labour Party in Lagos tomorrow. Is there now an obedient wing of Afanifere? So is that body known to the Afanifere mainstream as the obedient arm of Afanifere? And after the election, what will happen to that arm of Afanifere?
Yeah, thank you very much, Ben. First, about Governor El-Rufai. I had Robert Clark SAN discussing this morning of the relationship between principal and his agent. Peter Obi is our principal as far as Labour Party is concerned, and he has answered El-Rufai that it's a pity that El-Rufai belongs to one of such groups that do not believe or that do not know that it takes very intelligent people to act. So he had just dismissed Nollywood actors as unserious people. And Peter Obi has answered him that, oh yes, he would love to be so identified and to do much about that part of the Nigerian life, so much because of even what it brings to Nigeria in times of revenue. But be that as it may, I think El-Rufai is a man to watch in the present political activities that's going on. When you come on air as a governor and you dismiss a whole faith in the entire northern part of Nigeria and say they are insignificant, and you look at the whole of the southeast and say they are not less than 10% of the voters in a particular state in the north, and you call up your presidential candidate and say he's being harassed and they're going to stop him, there are moves to stop him by the same government. I am surprised that Ashwajon and his people are not seeing El-Rufai as a fifth columnist, an agent provocateur that is attracting enmity to his presidential candidate. And those who continue to celebrate him do not see him as a very dangerous personality within their camp. But being that as it may, one of the things he said, and which are really of interest, is of interest to me, is the need for the restructuring of the Nigerian Federation. The need for, because the way he was talking arrogantly is to say that, oh, some parts of Nigeria can never make it to the presidency. And it is because of the structure that is in place, which appears to favor him. But we will show him at the election that he particularly does not understand Nigeria. Peter Obi is going to win this election on the 25th of February. Peter Obi is going to win this election. He's the next president of Nigeria. And compare him with other candidates, just in a minute. There is no such candidate among the frontline candidates today that has the kind of character and capacity of Peter Obi. He's the only candidate that nobody is talking anything about. He's the only candidate you cannot say, oh, I don't want to say some of the accusation. This one, you are a drug peddler. This one, you are a thief. And all of such allegations. Nobody is able to say anything about Peter Obi. Peter Obi said he ran governorship of Anambra State for 8 years.
But people have got accusations of the Pandora paper, which has come to explain here.
Let them bring whatever paper.
So that's what.
Let them bring whatever paper. But at the end of the day, this man said he was governor in Anambra State, and since he left government, he has not taken pure water from government. He does not have an inch of land.
I need to respond to the question about the youth wing.
The youth wing, the Afanifere youth wing. Yes, Ruben. You are Afanifere yourself, you know. Yes, you know that Afanifere does not have any youth council. It does not have any youth group. But the name of Afanifere is attractive enough for people to use to mobilize for Peter Obi. To that extent, we have no problem. We have no problem with it at all. They are youths, they are Yoruba youths who perhaps maybe they do not feel themselves accessible enough to the Afanifere mainstream, and because Afanifere has now come to embrace Peter Obi, or the parent body has declared for Peter Obi, what are the children doing? So they have gone on their own to create a council for the purpose of mobilizing, and they said they are bringing 125,000 people to the TBS arena. They are welcome.
Okay, I mean, that's for, the watchers and political watchers to see if they're going to get 125,000 people. And you said he's the next president. Peter Obi is the next president.
He's the next president.
It's the people of Nigeria that will decide that. We can't call anywhere the next president.
You and I are Nigerians.
There are other millions of Nigerians watching. But two things I would like to say also. Talking about Peter Obi and Afanifere backing him, let's not forget there's still a debacle as regards the endorsements. Part of Afanifere, Fashion Roti has endorsed Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You can't run away from that. And this Afanifere, you are saying Afanifere is for Peter Obi. Who is Afanifere for really? Tinubu or Fashion Roti? That's number one. Secondly, next year poll says Peter Obi has a path to the presidency. Fitch Solutions did a poll and said Tinubu has a path to the presidency. What would you say about those two polls?
I didn't get your last point.
Secondly, next year polls said Peter Obi has a path to win the presidency. In fact, will win the presidency.
Right.
Or probably there's going to Fitch says there's going to Tinubu has a path to win the presidency, or there's going to be a runoff. Fitch Solutions, it's a London-based organization, says there's going to be Tinubu has a path to win the presidency, or there's going to be a runoff. Which of the? I want you to speak to the two different polls and also talk to me about who is Afanifere for, Tinubu or Peter Obi, because there's been an endorsement for Tinubu and Peter Obi in the Afanifere fold.
Well, I've been here 2 times on this issue of whether Afanifere or who Afanifere has endorsed. And we have put that to rest, that there is only one Afanifere. There are no 2 Afaniferes. There is only one Afanifere, and that Afanifere has endorsed Peter Gregory Obi. We're not going to dwell on that. And since that time, the only voice you have been hearing in the Nigerian public space is a voice of Chief Ayo Adebanjo, who leads the Afanifere now. Our leader does not, he prayed for Tinubu, and that was the end of it. I do not want to go over that. You know, we have settled that long ago. If Atiku goes to Akure today, he will be prayed for. Baba, I likened Baba to a pope the other time, and I said his house is open to everyone. In times of endorsement, it is Peter Obi Afanifere has endorsed. Okay, so and I'm speaking at the Secretary General of the organization.
The two polls.
The two polls. Yes, we take polls as they come. We are encouraged by those who say we will win, but we will not rest on our oars because of that. Those who say, oh yes, we are likely to have someone have a little edge, they have challenged us to do more. So we are not resting on our oars, neither are we despondent about the reports of polls.
Okay, let me ask you this. At the memorial event for Professor George Obiozor at the NIA the other day, Adebanjo, so it's good you mentioned him,
yes,
was there, and he made a speech in which he was saying that we should forget about the idea of a united Nigeria if Peter Obi does not win this election. In an election in which we have a choice of 18 candidates, is that the position of Afanifere that there will be crisis if Peter Obi does not win?
Well, Ayo Adebanjo, as far as Nigeria is concerned, is an oracle. And he is being prophetic about what may likely happen to this federation if we continue to deprive a group of Nigerians, a sizable chunk of Nigeria, the sense of belonging. It's not about where Peter Obi comes from.
But you said forget Nigeria if you don't vote for Peter Obi.
Nigeria is on the edge. Is it not clear that Nigeria is on the edge? And the international community knows today. We have said it over and over again that Nigeria is a federation of entrenched ethnic nationality. It is ethnic nationality that determines Nigeria. And that was what Peter Rufai was saying by comparing some section of the country with the others.
Yeah, Rufai.
Yes, Rufai, sorry. That's why Rufai was saying, by comparing one section of Nigeria with the others. And therefore, Nigeria cannot go on like that. Nigeria cannot survive on, like I told you, I've come a long way in Nigerian politics. I became chairman of local government just 2 years after my youth service. And about the youngest local government chairman in Nigeria during the Babangida transition program. I have been commissioner for about 12 years in Ondo State. I've contested the election as governor. I was a member of the 2014 National Conference. That National Conference, for instance, everything that was debated there is how to move Nigeria forward and give every group a sense of belonging. We were there. I belong to the same committee. Ayu, the current national chairman of the PDP, was the chairman of the political and electoral committee, of which I was a member. And everything that was discussed at the various committees was how do we move Nigeria forward. To move Nigeria forward, the presidency of Nigeria should be zoned on north-south basis and then percolating down to the regions. And therefore, without being pedantic or without wanting to repeat myself about what I've said here and there, we said Obasanjo did it for Southwest, Yar'Adua and Buhari did it for the North, Jonathan did it for the South-South. It is the turn of the Southeast. And so many people in Nigeria had come to that reality. The Southern and the Middle Belt Forum leader says that is Southeast, it is Peter Obi. Obasanjo says it's Peter Obi. T.Y. Danjuma says it's Peter Obi. Who else in Nigeria Apart from those who just have love for power, who else in Nigeria has endorsed any of the other presidential candidates? Those of our leaders, both current and past leaders, who are endorsing Peter Obi, they know within themselves nobody can be more Nigerian than President Obasanjo. Well, he has said it over and over again. Even sometimes the Yoruba has quarreled with him. Oh, that you are not. But he has come to 11 and said, look, if this country must move forward, you read him. He said, denial of Peter Obi of the next presidency has a lot to say about Nigeria's corporate existence.
But whatever happens at the end of the day, that should not translate to the end of Nigeria.
Oh, well,
you know, this country must survive.
Well, this country must survive with all of us having a sense of belonging to the Federation. On that note,
we'd like to thank you very much, Mr. Sola Ebiseni of Afanifere, and strong supporter of the presidential candidate of the Labour Party.
Yes, thank you, Ruben. We are inviting Nigerians to Tafawa Balewa Square tomorrow from 10 a.m. 120,000 capacity. That is what we are expecting for Peter Obi. It's going to be a mega rally.